दोस्तों गुड मॉर्निंग। आई एम गोइंग टू टॉक टू टुडे एक बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट टॉपिक है एंड दिस कंसर्न्स द हाईएस्ट इचेलॉन्स ऑफ द इंडियन गवर्नमेंट। मतलब आप सब ये कि वेरी सीनियर पीपल आर इन्वॉल्व इन इट एंड दिस कंसर्न्स आवर इंटेलिजेंस एजेंसीज and what has happened to Nikhil Gupta. Now, everybody's been reading in the paper, that Nikhil Gupta is an Indian national who has been arrested by America for trying to kill Gurpan Singh Pannu, the separatist Sikh terrorist. In addition, he has been accused of money laundering because he has transferred $15,000 to an American agent who he thought was a man who would execute his nefarious activity. And now he's been arrested. He was arrested from Czechoslovakia, and then he was extradited to America, where he's facing trial in the New York court. और एक बड़ी बात तो ये है कि he has pleaded guilty to all the charges. Now अमेरिका में ये plea of guilty जो होता है, it means that there will be no formal trial and उसको straight away punishment मिल जाएगी. But this punishment will be much less than what he would have normally got. नॉर्मली अगर जो चार्जेस उसके ऊपर लगाए थे उसके ऊपर 40 to 45 ईयर्स इम्प्रिजनमेंट मिल सकती थी उसको, पर क्योंकि अब उसने अपना गिल्ट कबूल कर लिया है, ही विल गेट बिटवीन 20 ईयर्स और 22 ईयर्स एंड मे बी आफ्टर अ फ्यू ईयर्स ही कुड बी रिलीज्ड ऑन पैरोल. सो ये एक बहुत बड़ा झटका है टू द इंडियन गवर्नमेंट एंड शोज़ कि हमारी जो इंटेलिजेंस एजेंसीज है दे आर वेरी वेरी फ्रेजाइल एंड इनएफिशिएंट एंड नॉट प्रोफेशनल. जेंटलमैन, मैं आपको बता दूं पहले कि मैंने 4 कोर्स खुद किए हैं CBI इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ क्रिमिनोलॉजी में एट झंडेवाला स्टेट इन दिल्ली, एंड आई वाज सिलेक्टेड फॉर दीज कोर्सेज एंड मुझे कुछ आइडिया है कि हाउ द इंडियन इंटेलिजेंस एजेंसीज आर वर्किंग. और मैं अफसोस से कहूँगा कि दे आर मोस्टली नॉट प्रोफेशनल, जैसे CIA है या KGB है और द अदर इंटेलिजेंस एजेंसीज, एंड आई थिंक दे आर नॉट प्रॉपरली स्टाफ्ड ऑल्सो. अदरवाइज ये इंसिडेंट जो है ये कभी होता ही नहीं. नाउ निखिल गुप्ता ने कहा है इन हिज कन्फेशन कि मैं एक हैंडलर था फॉर अ मैन कॉल्ड विकास यादव, जो गवर्नमेंट ने एग्री किया है दैट ही यूज टू बी देयर एम्प्लॉय इन द रिसर्च एंड एनालिसिस विंग, यानी रॉ. सो ये तो कबूल कर लिया गवर्नमेंट ने कि ये रॉ का ऑफिसर था, बट उन्होंने कहा है कि ही वॉज डिसमिस्ड फ्रॉम द सर्विस एंड इज बीन रिमूव्ड. पर इससे काम नहीं चलेगा बिकॉज द न्यूयॉर्क कोर्ट नाउ कैन टेक एनी सॉर्ट ऑफ एक्शन, एंड जो भी वो एक्शन लेंगे इट कैन हैव इंटरनेशनल रिपरकशंस. अमेरिका has some very strict laws regarding money laundering and killing of their nationals. However, आप जानते हो the CIA and the FBI have been carrying out killings of so many leaders outside America, but उनमें से कोई पकड़ा नहीं गया. So the question is, it is not the crime which matters, it is the crime is that you get caught and you send an unprofessional man for this job. So RAW is to be responsible for it. सबसे पहले मैं बताऊंगा कि जो रॉ है इट इज़ अ वेरी शेडी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, और पहले राइट टू द टाइम ऑफ नरेंद्र मोदी रॉ नेवर यूज टू indulge in any assassination attempts or anything like that outside India. In fact, they wouldn't kill anybody. But I do not know, there was a change in thinking after 2014 when the Modi became Prime Minister and Amit Shah became the Home Minister. And I do not know कुछ उनको instructions क्या मिली, पर उसके बाद में lot of इंडिया के ओपोनेंट्स जैसे सिख टेररिस्ट थे और some मुस्लिम टेररिस्ट इन पाकिस्तान दे वर किल्ड. ये कभी पहले नहीं हुआ. तो आई कैन मेक ए सरमाइज की जो पॉलिसी थी इंडियन गवर्नमेंट की दैट चेंज्ड, एंड ये जो पॉलिसी है कि बाहर जाके किसी को मारना है, दिस कैन ओनली बी अप्रूव्ड एट द हाईएस्ट लेवल बिकॉज इसमें मनी इन्वॉल्व है. नाउ इन द केस ऑफ निखिल गुप्ता आप जानिए कि $1 लाख की उसने डील की थी. ऑब्वियसली निखिल गुप्ता के पास $1 लाख कहाँ से आएंगे? Somebody has given him that money. Though now the American court will have to investigate, they say it's Vikas Yadav, but I'm not very too sure about it. the needle of suspicion could go higher up to Ajit Doval and even the Home Minister. Repercussions इसकी काफ़ी serious होती हैं, and I don't know what the Americans are going to do. They could soft pedal it to help India, or they could rake it up. In that case, they could send an arrest warrant right up to the top level, even Ajit Doval, and it would be very difficult for our leaders to go abroad, because there are many countries which will honor the American summons which will be sent, and they could be arrested and taken to America. So आप सोचिए कितनी सीरियस बात है. आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू द मेरिट्स कि क्या किया निखिल गुप्ता ने और व्हाट ही डिडंट डू. ये तो आप पब्लिक डोमेन में है, यू हैव रेड एवरीथिंग और आप पढ़ सकते हैं फिर से. आई एम गोइंग इनटू अ डीपर पॉलिसी. ये पॉलिसी जो थी इज़ नीदर बैड नॉर गुड. मैं नहीं कहता ये अच्छी है या बुरी है. इट इज़ ए पॉलिसी, इट इज़ देयर, पर इसमें 100% सक्सेस होना चाहिए, अदरवाइज डोंट अटेम्प्ट इट. और जो निखिल गुप्ता 52 ईयर्स ओल्ड आदमी है, आई डोंट नो हाउ एफिशिएंट ही वाज दैट ही कुड डू ऑल दीज जॉब्स. और उसी टाइम आप जानते हो कि एक और खालिस्तानी टेररिस्ट था निजर, उसको गोली से मारा था. तो किसने मारा, नेवर बीन एस्टेब्लिश्ड, बट 2 and 2 कैन बी लिंक्ड. कैनेडियन गवर्नमेंट सेड इंडियन गवर्नमेंट हैड ऑर्गेनाइज्ड द किलिंग. सो आई विल नॉट कमेंट ऑन इट. कैनेडियन गवर्नमेंट बोला, इंडियन गवर्नमेंट ने डिनाई किया. And now the question arises, why should RAW have done this and why did they fail? ये question है. Now obviously Vikas Yadav जो है, he is or was a member of the RAW. Now RAW एक shady organization है that is called the Research and Analysis Wing, and it's part of the Cabinet Secretariat and reports practically directly to the Home Minister and the Prime Minister. Now ये एक fact बात याद रखिए. It was created by Indira Gandhi and it has continued since that time. Actually, when Narasimha Rao became Prime Minister, he started giving more teeth to Rao. We have other agencies also like the Intelligence Bureau, the CBI, and then the Army Intelligence is there, and each of the services have their own intelligence. But the point is, RAW is the most important of these organizations, and जैसे मैंने कहा है कि it is neither good nor bad जो करो, but what matters is success. And अगर आप successful नहीं हैं, you should not attempt these things at all. You see, you know that the KGB, the Russian secret police, has been carrying out so many killings in London and Germany, but nobody has been caught. That is the point. The CIA has been carrying out, even they got the president of Chile, Allende, arrested, killed in his office, and nobody could pinpoint it. Che Guevara was shot by the CIA agents, and he just died and nothing happened. And now, in a brazen show of force, you know what the Americans have done? They carried away President Maduro of Venezuela, and he's facing trial in New York. So, nobody should take what has happened very lightly. The family of Nikhil Gupta, which is in India, has said कि अब हमारे पास पैसा नहीं है, and Nikhil Gupta has pleaded guilty. Now, as per American law, pleading guilty doesn't mean कि he becomes an approver, but later on he could become an approver if the Americans want to extract their pound of flesh against India. And मुझे थोड़ी सी हैरानी है कि Americans, the Indians did all these things to catch Pannu or to kill him or whatever it may be. Now, Pannu एक छोटा सा आदमी था. I mean, why should you give such importance to such people? That beats my imagination. He is more like a rat, and he should have been allowed to continue making noises. And same thing with Niger. They couldn't raise a revolt in India. So the question arises, why did they do it? Why did the Indian government was sanctioning, and why were they getting scared of it? And I think some of the Sikh terrorists have been killed in Pakistan. Some of the Muslims who had fought against India, terrorists, have also been killed, and Pakistan is worried. You see, killing in Pakistan is a different issue, and killing in America is a different issue. Killing in Canada is a different issue. There are two different things, two different worlds altogether. एक करिए कि dimension is different है. So when you want to kill somebody in America, you got to be 100% successful and do it. And it's much easier to kill in Pakistan because वहाँ the security apparatus which Pakistan has is very poor. but the American security apparatus is very high level, and that is why Nikhil Gupta जो थे वो पकड़े गए, because जिस आदमी को उन्होंने 15,000 रुपये दिए, he was actually a cover agent of this FBI, and he led Nikhil Gupta up the garden path. And Nikhil Gupta thought that I'm doing a very big deal, but that big deal turned out to be zero, and now it will be a very sad commentary if he gets sentenced to 15 or 20 years in jail. And I hope the best for him. But probably there's nothing else he could have done. I mean, had he contested the trial and fought it, there's every chance that he would have lost, because the Americans had a lot of evidence against him, and he would have been sentenced to jail for 40 years, and he would have died there. That is the sad part of the whole thing. So I am more perturbed not that the incident took place, but the fact that it was discovered by the Americans, who outsmarted the Indians. Indian intelligence के बारे में मैंने कई बार कहा है, Raw and all these people, they are not that efficient. जैसे मैंने आपको कहा है कि I have done some 4 courses with them, I will not comment upon them, but the result देखिए, result ये है कि नेपाल में इतना upheaval हुआ, Raw could not tell anything to the government of India. In Bangladesh, there was a student agitation against Sheikh Hasina, and Raw and all our intelligence agencies didn't know about it, and ultimately she was thrown out, and Muhammad Yunus was sent in. You see, the basic thing of intelligence is to forewarn the government. And forewarn the government means they should come out with hard facts and information. And this thing should have been gone through with a toothpick. They should have gone through with the comb to see that the operation doesn't fail. First of all, as I've said, there's no need to attack or make an attempt to kill Pannu, who was a small rat. And secondly, if you want to do it, then you do it and ensure that the best men are used for the job. I don't think, from what I've seen of Nikhil Gupta, that he was anything up a super sleuth or something like that. I don't think it was anything like that. So it's a matter of great regret that this thing has happened. And tomorrow, I do not know what's going to happen. The American court could issue summons to Vikas Yadav, even the director of the analysis wing, that is Raw. Even the Home Minister comes under purview, and I don't know, even the Prime Minister. So it depends India's political relations with America, how it's going to work out. Otherwise, it's going to be a very terrible time, and India won't be knowing what's happening, whether going forward or going backwards. So we must be very careful in such things. That's all I'll say. As I've already said, making an attempt or doing something like this is neither bad, it's not good, or good. You can't say what it is, it's just an even. But then there is no room for failure. That is the point. Moment you fail, you sign your doom. Well, gentlemen, I hope you like my video. I look forward to your sharing it, subscribing to my channel. But please bear in mind, as I've already said, that we cannot hold any judgment on the Indian nation. The thing is, success is the only way forward. Goodbye and God bless.